Andrew lived with his wife Amelia and their two sons, Jack and Ben. Jack was in grade 6. He was sensible and caring. Ben was in grade 5. He was careless, never admitted his mistakes, and often hurt others. Andrew and Amelia tried to advise him, but nothing worked. One afternoon, Ben had to attend his friend O'Neill's birthday party. He stood in front of his cupboard, pulling out shirts one by one.
No, not this one. This looks boring,
he grumbled. Then he turned to Jack, who was lying on the bed, reading a storybook.
Jack, can I borrow your pink shirt? I really like it,
Ben said. Jack lowered his book.
No, Ben. That's Dad's gift. You know how much it means to me.
Please, Jack. I'll be careful. Promise.
Jack sighed.
Fine. But you must be careful. No stains.
Ben grinned.
Don't worry. Nothing will happen.
At the party, after the cake cutting, snacks were served. Ben picked a slice of pizza, but ketchup dripped straight onto the shirt.
Oh no,
he whispered, rushing to the washroom. He scrubbed the spot, but the red stain refused to go. That evening, when Ben came home, Jack noticed immediately.
My shirt. Ben, what did you do? This was Dad's gift.
His eyes watered. Ben shrugged.
It was just a mistake. Relax.
He walked away. Jack sat silently. Andrew placed a hand on his shoulder.
I'll buy you another.
No, Dad.
Jack said slowly.
This one was special.
Andrew and Amelia looked at each other and sighed. A week later, at breakfast, Amelia sipped tea from a large mug. Jack laughed.
Mom, you always use that big one.
Amelia smiled faintly.
It was my mother's. I feel her close when I hold it.
She finished her tea and placed the mug on the table. Just then Ben raised his hand to take the jam, but his hand touched the mug. The mug fell to the floor. Amelia froze, her hands trembling, tears rolling down her cheeks.
My mother's cup,
she whispered. Ben said carelessly.
I didn't do it knowingly.
And left. Jack rushed to her and knelt down. He picked up the pieces gently and said,
Mom, don't cry. I'll keep these safe.
He wiped her tears, while Amelia sat still. One evening, they sat in the lounge. Ben said,
Mom, Dad, I gave my name for the running competition.
Andrew smiled.
Best of luck, son.
Amelia and Jack raised their thumbs with a grin. From the very next morning, Ben started practice in the park. He ran again and again. Sweat rolled down his face. But he didn't stop. Each day he pushed himself harder. Jack often stood by the track and clapped for him. Amelia carried a water bottle for him. Andrew gave him tips and encouraged him. At last the big day came. The ground was full of students. 10 boys stood at the starting line. Andrew and Amelia sat on one side of the field. Jack waved excitedly, but his face showed worry. The whistle blew. The boys ran fast. Dust rose from the track. Ben kept his eyes straight and ran with all his strength. Halfway through, he looked tired, but didn't give up. Andrew and Amelia held their hands tight in tension. Jack whispered,
Come on, Ben. You can do it.
The race grew tougher near the end. Ben was almost neck and neck with 2 others. His heart pounded, but he pushed harder. Step by step he moved forward and finally crossed the finish line first. The crowd clapped loudly. Andrew and Amelia ran towards him with joy. Jack hugged him tightly. The announcer called Ben's name as the winner. The principal gave him a shield and said,
Congratulations.
Ben held it proudly, while his family clapped with joy. A month later, Ben was holding his shield and cleaning it. Jack stood nearby.
Ben.
Jack said, turning to him. His hand knocked the shield. It slipped and fell to the floor. The shield broke. Ben stared in shock.
You broke my shield.
Jack shook his head.
Sorry. Ben. I didn't do it knowingly.
But Ben was too hurt. That night, he didn't come for dinner. Amelia told Anthony everything. Jack said,
Dad. I did it by accident.
Anthony went to the boys' room. Ben was lying on his bed, silent. Anthony sat beside him.
Ben,
He said softly,
I know you're hurt. But remember, you also made mistakes and didn't say sorry. Tonight, you feel the same pain.
Ben's eyes filled.
Dad, I broke Mom's mug once. I should have said sorry. But I didn't. I won't do it again.
Anthony smiled.
Good boy. Now accept your brother's apology.
Ben wiped his eyes and nodded. Just then, Jack stepped inside. Ben stood, and both hugged tightly. Moral: when you make a mistake, say sorry.